Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Ausra.
Let's start episode 171 of Ask Vidas and Ausra podcast. Today's question was sent by Alan. He writes, Hello Vidas and Ausra. I'm thinking of going on this tour to Italy and Poland in 2018. I'm really not a very good organist, but would love to be able to get up close to some interesting instruments, and this seems to be a good way to do that. Do you have any thoughts or suggestions? We are big fans of Italy, which is the only reason that this particular tour appealed to us. By the way, this tour is organized by musicalcollaborations.org, and you can find the link to that in our description of this conversation on the blog. Regards, Alan. So Ausra, he is in need to our advice, right? Where could they go to Europe, right, to visit old instruments? What would you suggest first? What idea comes to you?
Is it how you understood this question?
Yes.
I did not understand it in that way.
He thinks that he needs our opinion if this tour is worth going to, right? Or maybe we could have some other recommendations, right, of going to European organ tours. First of all, maybe he could go to, let's say, Bach Organ World Tour. Remember that Quentin and Mary Merle Faulkner used to lead?
Well, I understood this question completely different. I understood that
Alan?
Alan, yes, that he loves Italy and he wants to see Italy. And that's why he chose this tour, because it will take part in Italy and a little bit in Poland, as I understood.
Mm-hmm.
So and I don't think the Bach tour would work for him, because it would take place in Germany.
Unless he loves Bach, right?
Yes, but I see why many people love Italy, because it's a nice climate and good food, good wine, and it's very nice.
And how is it related to Poland then? Italian culture.
That's a good question. And these two countries are far away one from another. But actually Poland and Lithuania,
Mm-hmm.
because at one time we had the one country with Poland.
Yeah, Commonwealth.
Yes, Commonwealth country. So all this, part of Central Europe and of Northern Europe were heavily influenced by Italian artists.
Especially the Catholic portion of the Europe.
Yes. And because Poland and Lithuania are Catholic countries, we have so many churches and palaces built by Italian architects.
Mm-hmm.
And all other appearances of Italian culture. Especially it was prominent in Renaissance and Baroque, and not so much later on, but still you can see some spectacular cathedrals and feel like you are in Italy, although you would be standing in the middle of, let's say, Krakow or Vilnius.
Mm-hmm. I see. So it's worth going to such tours, right? If you like old cultures.
That's true. And Alan, since he wrote that he is not a very good organist, I think Italian tour would do him good, because, well, since Italy is a Catholic country, we did not have much of a congregational singing, as, for example, North Germany did. So The instruments usually are not as large
Mm-hmm.
and often does not have, the pedal board, sophisticated pedal boards, or many stops on the pedal board. So, he can just pick up some manual pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we would work very well in Italy. What do you think about it?
Pieces from Fiori Musicali by Frescobaldi, right?
Yes.
Pieces by other Italian composers, Domenico Cipolloli, or maybe Toccata Elevazione, slower movements, right, of the output that more well-known Italian composers like Merullo or even Frescobaldi himself wrote. Fiore Musicali is a great place to start, I think.
Yes, it's a great collection of music.
And it has a lot of pieces, a lot of episodes. You can stop in any place you want. You don't have to play, let's say, Kyrie from the beginning until the end. You can stop after 2 episodes or after 3, right?
Yes.
Because in those days, the Kyrie had 9 parts, not 3 like today.
That's true, but because, it's all segmented, so you can play as many episodes as you want.
Why it was segmented, by the way, and not through composed? Do you think that it has to do something with alternating practice?
I think so, yes.
What does it mean?
Well, when you play on the organ one verse of a certain hymn or another liturgical piece, and then choir or the cantor sings another one, and then again organ, and then again cantor, and so that's so-called alternating practice. Actually, it was banned later on, but it survived for many centuries.
What's the reason behind this ban, do you know?
I don't know, maybe, compositions became more elaborated and took too long. I'm not sure. I have heard that story, but now I cannot recall it.
Was it because Second Vatican, right, Council, or the First Vatican Council, might be the first, that people couldn't understand the words, right, when you play the organ in between of the chorale, schola cantorum, or choral pieces. So they decided that all the words have to be audible and sung.
Yes.
Does it make sense?
It makes sense, yes.
I only don't remember, was it after Vatican II or after Vatican I?
Well, anyway.
Do you think that it was a good tradition to do alternating practice?
Yes, I like it very much.
Do you like it because you can rest between playing organ and turn the pages and registrations for yourself, or for some other reason?
Well, if you just think, the long hymn, for example, like Veni Creator, I think it might get so boring after a while, and it's more interesting musically for me when, it's done in an alternatum.
Isn't that the reason why in Catholic tradition organ became less prominent when they banned alternating practice? Because look, now the choir can sing everything.
Well, organ was never so important in Catholic churches as was in the Protestant churches.
Why? What's the reason? What's the deal with Protestant concept?
Well, especially when I talk about Protestant, I mean especially Lutheran tradition.
Right.
Because in Luther loved the music himself, and he was a very high opinion about any any music basically. And he himself, created the hymnal actually. He wrote some hymns himself.
And some hymns he adapted from Gregorian chant hymns, right?
And some from, I think, German folk music.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, musical tradition in Lutheran Church was so rich, so much richer than in Catholic churches. Because, there was congregational singing, the organ was very important, and all kinds of ensembles.
In Catholic tradition, organ was just tolerated.
Yes.
And today it is like that.
Yes, definitely.
Especially if you try to play something more advanced and more extended, they always tell you, "Oh, it's a concert," and the church is not the place for concerts, right?
I know. And the repertoire sometimes it's so bizarre in Catholic churches that it makes me sometimes laugh, sometimes cry.
In our church, Vilnius University St. John's Church, they probably don't use the organ in services systematically, regularly, maybe on special occasions, but they have guitars and drums which they use more often. But from time to time, when those guitars and drums are away on vacations, they ask me to play the organ. And then I play the organ as much as I can. And the last time I played, I remember the microphone was broken, so I even didn't sing, Kyrie, Sanctus, and Agnus Dei part from the balcony. I played everything on the organ. It was like a organ mass, and you know what kind of comment I received from one of the priests?
I don't know.
That it sounded like he was in Notre Dame in Paris. Because I improvised everything, of course. To which I replied, that was my intention, of course, to show the bright side of this instrument, what it can do, without attracting too much of attention from the liturgy, right? I only played in certain parts of the liturgy. I never hijacked the liturgy, didn't play in elevation, right? Didn't play in places where I didn't supposed to play. But wherever I could, I showed the instrument to the best of its ability. And that's, I think, our responsibility as organists.
Yes, nicely said, Vidas. So, and for Alan, just have fun, and enjoy your trip to Italy and Poland. I bet you will see many very exciting things.
And for other people who want to try historical instruments and immerse themselves in historical local cultures in Europe, they could go to Netherlands, to France, to Spain, to Portugal, to Germany, right? To central Germany in the footsteps of Bach, to the North German of the footsteps of Buxtehude, let's say, and other countries. The more you go, the more you discover, right, Osha?
Yes.
And the better musician you will become in general, I think, the more broad-minded.
Sure. Organ world is, so vast. Has so many different countries, so many instruments, so much variety.
One closing idea for Alan and others. Wherever you go, make sure you do some research which churches will you visit, right, in advance, and contact local organists of those churches via social media. It's so easy to find now everybody. In 6 clicks, I can find anybody on earth, basically. And you can too. So if you contact a local organist and say, hello, I'm such and such organist from such and such country, and I will be visiting your church with this tour. Can I please, try out and have an access to this instrument or other instruments in town? Maybe you will get this connection for a lifetime afterwards.
That's possible.
Okay, thanks guys. Osha and I am going to practice some organ playing, and I hope you will do too, because when you practice,
Miracles happen.